We are live.
All right. Well, good evening, everybody. It's that time of day again. This is the last class. Brad's going to lead tonight. I'm here. For those of you who don't know my voice, I'm Evan. Ryan's also joining, so the three of us are actually online. We're going to go through some practice exams and all that other good stuff. But I'll turn it over to Brad.
All right, thank you, Evan. Yeah, so tonight we're just going to go through. We're going to use FRSecure. No, affiliation. It's just what I used, and we have a good relationship there. So we are going to we'll start with maybe a 25 question quiz, and let's see. We can do either the test mode or study mode. Test mode doesn't tell us if we got it right away. Study mode will allow us to see the answers. So what do you, Evan and Ryan, what do you guys think?
Well, either way, it's going to be a lot of pressure, right? We don't know the answers. Ryan, do you know?
I don't know them.
All right, let's wing
I
it.
know a couple of them.
What's the difference between study mode and practice mode?
So study mode, you can see the answer real time. Test mode, you have to wait till the end to know if you got it right or not.
Yeah, let's do the first mode first, maybe just to kind of ease our way into it.
Let's mix it up.
You want test mode?
Yeah, either one.
All right, let's do that. Let's see what happens.
I'm easy.
All right. Whew. Oh, look at that. The back button is no longer available for the CISSP, so now they have taken away your back button. No pressure. All right.
Oh, am I supposed to be online too? The other thing, or are you sharing the screen on here too?
I am sharing my screen on Oh wait, am I not sharing it to you guys? Oh,
no, I can't see anything.
Well, geez.
It's what we do, man. At least your computer's working. I got a new computer today. Oh, there it is.
There we go.
Hey.
All right.
Whoa. You start right off with a certificate question, number 1.
There you go. Well, since you said something, I think you should take this one there, Evan.
All right. I'm going to say what kind of certificate is used to validate a user identity? Public key certificate, attribute certificate, code signing certificate, or root certificate? I'm going to say a public key certificate. Well, no. Because everybody has a public key. Everybody gets my public key. That validate me. Yeah, what the hell? Let's go with it. Public key certificate.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Which of the following is a telecommunication device translating data from digital analog back and forth? Oh, that's a modem, right?
I concur.
Almost said
modulate, demodulate.
Yeah. So when we do this, we'll start. Some of these are a little easier, but when we'll start talking through how we. I gotta close my chat because it's behind and it's throwing me off. How we figure out some of these and what the tips and tricks are as we get across the different questions. So.
Well, that last one, like modulation, that's an analog thing, right? It's
right.
The modulation, it's the wavelength. So you'd have to modulate the digital signal to go on the analog phone line, and then demodulate, right, to take it back from the analog signal into the digital.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm so smart, dude.
Since I taught the security model one, I am not answering this, Ryan.
Come on.
So when I look at this question, the first thing that jumps out to me is this: it's a true or false. So it's asking which statement is false. Okay, so I look at this and I say, well, integrity levels are assigned to subjects and objects. A subject is not allowed to write up. It's a state machine model. Programs serve as intermediary layers between subjects and objects. And if I remember anything from Brad's class, and I'd like to think I remember like at least one thing because that was painful to watch, is that There were subjects and there were objects and there were programs and there was integrity. So I do not believe it is a state machine model.
All right. We'll see. Now the tough part's going to be we got to remember who answered which one.
No. We don't have to hold each other accountable.
Oh, perfect. Which of the following embodies the detailed actions, personnel?
We already passed the exam.
Well, and full disclaimer, none of us actually know what we got wrong on the exam.
Very true. So
I thought you were going to say none of us know what we're actually doing.
Well, that also a true statement.
That's the disclaimer for tomorrow night.
All right.
I'll show. So when we look at this baselines, right? That's the base. What are we measuring against? Guidelines are exactly that. They're guides. They're suggested. Standards are what are we doing things against? So maybe a NIST or the STIGs. Procedures are the detailed actions that you follow. So
and I always remember that one too. By standards, procedures, and policies are all required. They're all mandatory, right? It's guidelines are the only things that was compulsory, meaning it's guidance. Baselines aren't in those four. Baselines are something different, but they're related to standards. So to your point, it is procedures, but that's how I remember it.
I like that. That's a good way to remember it as well. Oh, it looks like another Ryan question. No, let's see. I just saw a token ring and went, nope.
Oh, I got stories about token ring. Who taught this one? Was that you, Ryan?
I might have taught this one.
Which of the following is a token passing scheme? So, well, I just know this. That it's FIDI. The others are not FIDI. Yeah, the others are not rings.
I have a story about token ring. I used to work.
Not a ring, right.
One of my first jobs was working at IBM, and if you remember token ring, in the older networks, it was 802.1, 802.5. But you had the multi-station access unit, right? That was another thing we called it was a multi-access unit, a MAU. But it goes around the token, right? And there was networks weren't very resilient back then, and for some reason, like multiple times during the day, the whole ring would go down, meaning nobody could communicate because if that token doesn't pass, if you don't get the token, you can't talk, right? And so if there's any disruption in the token ring, because the older MAUs didn't reroute, and we couldn't figure out, it was different times of day. It was so hard to troubleshoot. Well, it turned out that one of the cables ran too close to the women's restrooms fluorescent light. So when the shielding wasn't very good. So every time you turned on the light, it would take the whole network down. And it was always random times. So we couldn't, when you troubleshoot, you're trying to figure out a pattern. You're trying to, what the hell's the cause? And well, it turned out every time a woman went to the bathroom, we'd lose the network.
And that is why we say don't put it near fluorescent lights.
Yeah, certainly, newer shielding probably, is a little more resilient. But yeah, back then you were using Cat 3 cabling.
Yeah, not good. All right, database views are not used to.
I always hate when they ask questions like not, and you have one of the things I think
you gotta look out for that.
Yeah, one of the things to master when you're prepping for your exam is the detail of not and true false. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you're thinking, oh, it's this one, but it asks not what it was. You know what I mean?
Right. So database views, that's intended to restrict access, right? You're going to give a view to a user that they can only see what they have permission to see. So it is used to implement need to know. I'd say implement content dependent access restrictions is correct. Implement least privilege, and it does not have anything to do with referential integrity.
I concur, Doctor.
All right. A passive attack. Well, passive meaning, right? We're not doing anything active, so we'll start at the bottom because that will be easier. Uh, Denying services, well, you're actively doing something there. Brute force, that's active. Smurfing is active. And well, yeah, shoulder surfing would be, well, now I'm going to talk myself out of it. No,
Well,
it's
I mean,
shoulder.
I watched you
technically,
do that too.
shoulder
I
surfing
know.
is
I was like, wait a
active.
minute.
You're actively looking over their
I
shoulder.
know, but you're not actively doing anything to the network or the computer device. I,
Shoulder surfing is like a physical uh, network tap. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like putting a network interface card into promiscuous mode, but in a physical sense. You know what I mean? You're not actually doing anything. You're just consuming.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, and
As I started going through that, I was like, oh, I framed this poorly.
for the listeners, knowing these different types of attacks, the smurfing attack. If you remember that, that's we call it a reflection attack, but it uses UDP as opposed to ping. Is that smurfing? Am I getting that mixed up?
I'll be
Yes,
honest, I don't
pings
remember
versus
because
UDP.
I
But
don't
what
think
you
I've
do
ever.
is you'd spoof your source address to be the target of who you're attacking, and you'd replicate. So you'd ping or send a UDP packet to a broadcast network address. That entire network would then respond to who you spoofed, right? That target. That's a DDoS or a form of a DOS attack. We used to do that a lot. Those used to be a lot of fun. We can't do them anymore because none of the networks allow it.
Yeah,
Anyway, so
I can say I've never been part of a smurfing attack on either side. All right, who wants this one? That's
Category 5. Unshielded twisted pair cabling is a 2-pair wire medium that is used in a variety of networks, a 1-pair wire medium, a 3-pair wire medium, or a 4-pair. Well, the question here asks about twisted pair. So right there, you can tell that it's at least 1 pair. But if I recall correctly from wiring Cat 5, it is a 4-pair.
I say it has been a long time since I've had to
are
do
you
that.
guys are you guys remember in the 90s? I need two
Oh
pair.
my gosh.
Give me two pair.
Well, yeah. Does anyone actually? I guess probably people still do, but it's probably not very common anymore.
What's that?
I just gave cabling and a crimper to a buddy last week.
Hmm.
That's where we used to have to. Many of us back in the day had to start. That was our job,
Yeah.
was making cables.
Oh,
Cable jockey, absolutely.
I've made so many cables. I'll be happy if I never have to make another one.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. Or crossover. Remember having to make crossover cables?
Oh, and then you mix up one, and you're like, why is this not working? Oh,
Well, because there was a difference too, right? You had rollover and crossover cables. They were
Right.
different.
And Panduit wasn't a company yet, so.
right. All
Yeah.
right. Oh man. Which of the following does not address database management systems security? So again, for the listeners, remember you're not going to be an expert in every domain on everything, right? So this one, I would have to think about this. Um, Security. Well, to me, huh? Which of the following does not address security? So self-suppression, I can see that being security related. Padded cells, not sure. I am not a DBA. Perturbation or partitioning, man,
I think it's perturbation.
or whatever. Perturbation.
And isn't padded cells what you need after you become a security professional?
Yeah.
Right? And perturbation is like the sweetest word on there, so I'd totally go with that one.
All right. Yeah, because partitioning would be a security thing.
Right.
Suppression, I could see that. Get it down to two and pick the sweet word.
Yeah,
I,
and that is actually the answer. Perturbation is, yeah, it's. I think that's a word that's used in astronomy or something.
I've never seen that word before.
It is used in astronomy.
There you go. Look at Evan.
Well, I'm perturbed.
Yeah. All right. Defined as the sum of protection mechanisms inside the computer, hardware, firmware, and software. Oh, well, it's going to be, it's trusted system or security kernel. Right? Security perimeter is more like the physical.
Yeah, I think the answer in this one is the TCB, actually, the Trusted Computing Base,
Okay.
which includes the security kernel. That's my.
I guess I'll go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the joy of doing these live.
Right. And combined, if it was like you and me and Ryan taking the test, we'd totally pass.
Right? All right.
We also.
That would make life so much easier.
Right.
Okay, so batch process dumping backup data through communication lines to a server in an alternate location. Well, oof, so journaling is going to be throwing that journal, electronic vaulting, shadowing is not necessarily alternate location.
Well, I think that's the key, man. I think you hit on
Yeah.
the key. The only one of those four
Gotta be
that actually requires an alternate location would be remote journaling.
yeah. So
you guys, listeners, as you're watching how we're unpacking these questions, that is a core technique, right? So we're looking for prompts in the questions that help us unpack the answers.
Yep, good point.
Yep.
What is a security policy?
Something nobody likes to write or follow. Is that one of the answers?
Well, so this is it's something that a lot of companies don't have. So I want to talk through this one because it is, if you look, there are some that you're like, oh, okay, and then when you actually read through it, ooh, wait a minute. So policy ensuring focuses on ensuring a secure posture and expresses management approval. So if I just read that first part, it's actually not a horrible description, but then it goes on and explains in detail how to implement the requirements. Well, there's your disqualifier, right? That should be in your standards, your procedures, all those supporting documents. Policy that defines authentication to the network, no. High-level statements on management's expectations that must be met in regards to security. I could see that being good. And then a statement that focuses on authorization process for a system. No, I'm going to go with that one. What do you guys think?
Yep, I agree 100%.
Absolutely.
The key words in that are high level,
Mm-hmm.
management, and must be, right? The requirements. So we talked about policy, standards, guidelines, and procedures. There's only one of those that are compulsory, meaning not mandatory, and that's guidelines. The differences between the others, standards tell you how to do something within like boundaries, usually around a technology. And procedures are detailed step-by-step instructions. So this is definitely the one that fits.
All right. Ryan, do you want to go?
Which of the following ACID property ensures that transaction will bring the database from one valid state to another? Is this a poorly wrote question, or am I just having trouble reading tonight? Okay, yeah, just trouble reading, tired. Durability, isolation, autonomy, or consistency. Well, if we know, we look at this, let's see, A, well, that's in there. Let's see, I, C, D, I think the durability of the data doesn't really matter, right? It's not genes, it's data. Let's see, isolation. I'm going to say consistency.
Yeah, it's definitely not isolation.
Is it isolation?
No, it's not. I said.
Oh,
I
no. Yeah,
agree.
I
It's
was like,
definitely not that.
It is actually, you guys.
Oh, is it? Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, did I get that back?
Yeah, because
Crap, that's
it isolates the transaction itself so that it doesn't affect the rest of the database.
You're right. I was thinking
yeah, oh, yeah.
the. Yeah. All right.
See?
Sorry, guys. But this one's a hard one because I think most of us don't know what ACID even stands for, and ACID is those four. It's atomicity, is your A, consistency, isolation, and durability. So those are each four valid
Yeah.
properties in ACID. But yeah, I don't know I don't remember these things being on the exam. Do you guys?
Well, that's the problem, right? Because you don't know what questions in the pool you got, right? So,
Right.
we talking with some people, they might have had much heavier on encryption, whereas I only had a couple questions. So you just don't know what that mix is going to be.
Actually, maybe this is consistency now that I think about it.
That's what I was thinking
Ah,
too.
damn it. All right.
Uh,
Here's that transaction will bring database from one valid state for another. Because isolation and consistency both play off each other for that. I,
See, I was gonna go consistency because right, one valid state to another would be consistent. That's where I was going.
Actually, it looks like it's durability.
Oh,
The
well,
chances of a successful transaction occur even if the system failure occurs.
no, there you go. Well, we'll leave it as isolation. We got it wrong. It is what it is. What can you do? This is what. So this is
it's,
again kind of
it's
for
a tough one.
listeners or for the people watching. You're gonna learn. You have to memorize all this stuff, and then as soon as the test is done, if you don't use this in your day-to-day job, you just purge it. It's gone.
Ooh, unless you're a database guy, maybe you.
Right. Well, but then you would be using it.
Yeah, but even then.
Yeah. All right.
Right.
Oh gosh, I have no idea. Slice
This,
and
bring,
frame
this
relay.
brings back memories.
Does the actual transmission?
Well, this is so DCE, DTE. The DTE is the data terminal equipment, right? That's the end, essentially an endpoint. So it's not DTE. DLE and DME aren't even related to frame relay. I don't even know what they stand for. But DCE and DTE are both two frame relay concepts. One is data circuit terminating equipment, and the other one's data terminal equipment. The data terminal
Mm,
equipment is the actual terminal, so it's got to be the data circuit terminating equipment, which would be the modem or router.
man,
Well, I spent so much damn time with frame relay.
I was
Same
gonna
for
say, and that's it's funny how that works, right? If you don't use it, you memorize it, you go, and it's gone. Uh, all right, so here's a good one. Remember we were talking about earlier in the classes when you see the big question or paragraph, just skip right to the question. This type of hash function generates a 128-bit digest from a message of any length. Well, then I don't even have to spend time reading the paragraph. It doesn't matter, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is where your memorization of your hashes and what the different kinds are. Uh, so I don't remember. I'll be honest. The 128-bit digest. I know it's.
Well, you can eliminate
I
PGP
know
right
it's
away
not
because that's not even a
PGP.
hashing function. And a lot
Probably
of
not.
times when you're taking the exam, that's how you'll go about it. Is a series
Yeah.
of elimination.
So, and we know SHA-1, that 128-bit digest, that's a bigger digest, so it's probably not one of the older uh, functions, right? So I would say
Um,
I would narrow it down to SHA-3 or MD5. And
MD5 is 128 bit.
well, there you go.
Yeah, it's fixed. Wait, yeah, yeah.
I can't go back, so.
No, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm almost positive MD5 is 128 bit
All right.
because SHA-1 is
Is it?
think 160 bit. It's not your normal,
Yeah, I don't. Again, this is where I don't use that. I never have used worried about that type of thing in the for encryption. So memorized it and forgot it, and the only time I think of it is during this class.
Yeah, MD5 is definitely 120 bit. SHA-1 I think is 160, and I think SHA-3 is variable. I think you get to configure your hash length. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on.
All right. When a biometric system is used, which error type deals with the possibility of granting access to imposters who should be rejected? So that would be when you look at this, you might see, oh, rejected. That's a type 2, right? It could be, a rejection. But we were saying we might accidentally grant access who should be. So a false acceptance, right? Which would be the type 1.
No.
What?
No, the way do you remember my trick on this one? The far is far, so it's it's farther, so a bigger number.
But no.
So if this is a false accept rate, or is this
right.
false reject rate?
It's a false accept rate, right?
Yes, it'd be a type 2. Right?
Isn't
far?
You're right.
Far is type 2.
You're right. It has been a really long day.
But Evan's actually, that's a really good tip you've got there for how to remember it. The farther away, the higher the number. I think that's a really good study technique.
Because I struggled with this one lots over the years, so that's how I remember it.
Yeah, I can't believe I got that bad. It was flipped. I know that one. I actually know that. That's one of the ones I know. It's like, oh, all right. We're done. I'm going to bed. No.
It's different too because we got the three of us here, and we know that people are listening in. It's like, when your head's down right in front of your computer and it's just you and the computer, it's different.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Which of the following describes a cipher? Divides the message sent into fixed length pieces and then encrypts each of those pieces one by one into ciphertext. Well, black cipher is not a thing, and PKI is not a cipher, so we know it's either stream or block. And if you're looking, it's sending it into fixed lengths and encrypting each of those pieces one by one into ciphertext. To me, that seems like a block, right?
Right, yeah. The fixed length pieces is the tell.
Right.
Because stream cipher works bit by bit.
Yeah.
Then, to confuse things more, do you remember that, that class we also had stream emulation?
No, yeah.
Which is still a block cipher, but it works on a bit by bit in a block mode, which is just funky.
Memorization.
Yeah. Were you going to say something, Ryan? Sorry, man.
No, I'm just listening to you two go. Spotlight off me. What type of IDS could see a clear text password traversing the network and report it to the administrator? Is it a host-based security system? Is it a host-based intrusion detection, network integrity checking system, or network-based intrusion detection? Well, let's see. What's the key word in the question? Network. So I can probably rule out my host stuff right away. And then am I checking for a clear text password? Well, that's not really an integrity check. So I'm going to go with network-based intrusion detection.
All right. I would concur.
Because if I bought the what they sold me, then it should be doing that, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Bell LaPadula. Oh.
Mm-hmm. Really? Do we do this one?
Yeah, sure.
All right. The Bell LaPadula access control model is focused on which of the following security properties? It's primarily concerned with covert channels. It allows the users of objects to determine who may access those objects. It is primarily concerned with confidentiality. Is primarily concerned with integrity. So in this one, you can rule out integrity, right? That would be BIBA. You can rule out the covert channels because Bell LaPadula doesn't specifically call out anything about covert channels. So then it's either it allows users of objects to determine who may access those objects. So that would be a discretionary access control, and Bell LaPagel is a mandatory access control. So that one's out too. So you're left with left with confidentiality.
There you go. Oh man. So again, going back, and this is the networking people are probably jumping all over this. IP header containing a protocol field. Field contains the value of 2. What type of data is contained within the IP datagram? I don't remember. So, man, this is if you do it for a living, it's probably really maybe easier. Fire up the Google machine. Either you guys know? I honestly don't know.
My gut says TCP, but
I thought that, but then could it be UDP? Because Evan's gonna chime in and know it. He's just waiting for us to stumble.
I know he likes seeing us struggle. He's like, "Come on, boys, figure it out."
Oh, sorry, dude. I had us on mute. I was talking. I was like, hey, what's up? Type 2 for in the IP header contains a protocol field. So there's lots of different types. Like that's where you call out like encapsulation. The next level protocol. Like where am I going to hand this off to? Type 2. I believe it's either ICMP or IGMP. So it's one of those two. Because I remember TCP is 6.
All right. Let's go ICMP, just alphabetical. Why not?
Yeah, watch. It'll be IGMP, but whatever. It's one of those two.
Oh, hang on. I just want to make sure. Oh, okay. Just so you guys know, I guess they're asking for us to give the people a little bit more time to read through it before we start analyzing. So,
okay,
just read through this question here.
Which transport? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah.
That's a jerk move. I'm gonna slap myself. Hold on, I gotta put myself on mute for that.
He'll forget to take it off again. Which layer encryption protocol consists of 2 layers? The record protocol and the TLS handshake protocol, and encrypts communications between the client and server. Wow, there is a lot to unpack on that one. So we got transport layer protocol. It's with encryption. 2 layers, record protocol and TLS handshake protocol between client and server. So SSL secure sockets layer, that seems incorrect. Wireless TCP layer security, secure socket TLS. So, I know the bottom one, TCP layer security for TLS, is not correct. Wireless TCP layer security, probably not correct. So either SSL for secure socket layer, which no, or TLS transport layer. Well, that does make sense since it says what transport layer encryption protocol. Yeah, oh yeah.
I feel like that is the correct answer.
It does say it right, and the TLS, which by the way, I totally spaced on until I looked back up at the question.
And that can happen during the real exam. So
it is so easy.
Don't be shy, about reading it 3, 4, 5 times.
Yeah, make sure you get a good night's sleep the day before. I'm trying to think of some tips real quick.
OJ.
Yeah,
really helped.
I took my test.
Barbecue.
I took my test. My test started at about 9 o'clock, I think. 10 o'clock? 10 o'clock. And I took the morning off. I didn't do any practice tests. I just, kind of slept in a little bit, got a good breakfast, tried to relax, go in and just, if you don't know it the morning of your exam, you're not going to know it. I just don't think it's worth the additional stress. It's already going to be a hard enough test. All right. Who wants to do this one?
I got this. Which of the following statements pertaining to the maintenance of an IT contingency plan is incorrect? Giving people time to think on that. The plan should be reviewed at least once a year for accuracy and completeness. Yep, that's true. Strict version control should be maintained. Yep, that's true. The contingency planning coordinator should make sure that every employee gets an up-to-date copy of the plan. While that sounds like a great idea, probably unnecessary. Copies of the plan should be provided to recovery personnel for storage offline. Yep, that's true. So it has to be
that one.
That one.
Yeah, and you probably don't want every employee to have your IT contingency plan.
No. There's confidential information in there.
Yeah, that sounds like that's a good way to get breached, because somebody's gonna lose their copy or do something they shouldn't, and then next thing you know, hey, everything we have is gone.
Right.
All right, Evan, you want to do this?
I'll do this one. Yeah.
Look at that.
All right. Suppose you want to deploy an IDS or an IPS. So IDS, intrusion detection system, or intrusion prevention system, but you're in a switched network, so the sensor may not see all traffic you wish to inspect. So if you remember how IDS and IPS work, I'll let you read a little bit more. But those put the network interface card into promiscuous mode, which means you're only going to see layer 2 traffic and below. Layer 2 traffic specifically for your port, so this is going to get a little funky. Which feature of some network routers and switches lets you copy all traffic traversing the device so that it can be inspected? So if you remember, if I put a network interface card that's in promiscuous mode, it's basically listening for all the traffic that happens, on that wire. But in a switch, the only stuff that's going to be forwarded to my port or my wire by default is going to be layer 2 broadcasts and below. So I'm not going to see all the network traffic if it's not meant for my MAC address, right? That's in the MAC address table of the switch. So I need to do something to make that device forward out all ports. So a span port usually just it's a mirror of a port, and that's actually a pretty good answer. But you don't want to go right there and then stop, right? You need to look at the other. Spanning tree protocol is it's not the answer, but because the way spanning tree works is it's a protocol that switches speak with each other. And what they're doing is they're building a topology of the network so that you don't have loops. You don't have, broadcast storms that, bounce all over the place forever. So that's not right. Address resolution protocol, if you remember that one, that takes the logical address, which would be your IP address, and it resolves it to a hardware address, a MAC address. So that's also not going to be the answer here. And then your dynamic routing protocols, that's a layer 3 operation for routers. So that's not even relevant to switching. But that is what routers basically speak with each other to maintain a routing table that's up to date, or a topology. So when you look at these answers, really the only one that's logical, that's even close, would be the span port. So that would be your answer.
Concur. All right. Which risk treatment strategy?
Which whisk?
Easy for you to say. Which risk treatment strategy involves getting your web services hosted elsewhere and not doing it yourself? So I'm gonna give people a minute to read, or a second here to read through these. A minute, just sitting here quietly for a minute. It's a turn of phrase.
Come on, Brad. What's the whisk treatment?
I know, right? All right. So, going through this risk mitigation, That's where you're going to actually fix it, right? We're going to mitigate that risk. We're going to do something to get rid of that or lower the risk. Risk avoidance means we're just not going to do it. Risk acceptance means, you know what? Yeah, we know that's a risk, but it's okay. It's tolerable for us, right? Maybe the cost to remediate or mitigate is higher than the risk actually poses to the organization. Or risk transfer. Well, we're going to give that risk to someone else. I'm going to go with transfer because you're saying you're pushing it, you're having them hosted elsewhere. You're not doing it yourself. You're transferring it to someone else.
I concur.
That is the correct answer. However, the humorous answer is that it's risk acceptance.
Well, don't confuse people.
Yeah, it's transfer. Transfer.
Transfer.
Sorry. Inside IT, inside security guy jokes.
All right, Ryan, you want to finish it off?
Yes, I do. Which type of
we're doing
firewall?
more. Don't worry.
Which type of firewall typically operates at the session layer of the OSI model? Is it the circuit level gateway firewall, the packet filtering firewall, a host-based firewall, or a bastion host firewall?
I'm offended by that. I don't know why.
Good question. Damn OSI model. Always
God.
Get you. Session. If I remember the OSI, session is going to be 6, right?
See, this test was like heavily weighted towards network people.
5. Yeah, okay, so 5.
Being a network guy, it's like, it's easier than if you're not.
Yeah, it is pretty heavy. This particular one is. I'm going to say it is a... No, session. Shit. I don't know. Let's say packet, but sorry. Oops, my bad.
Shit, I don't know is not one of the answers.
I'm going to go with packet. I'm probably wrong, but I'm going to go with packet. Sometimes you just got to pull the trigger when you're taking this exam. Move on.
All right, let's do it.
What do you think it is?
I was reading a text from Lori, so I did not listen to what he said.
I wasn't paying attention to this. Who are you?
I got called out.
Somebody called you out?
No, you just did. I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, yeah, no.
I was sending her a message. Let's see. Which type of firewall operates at the session? Ooh. Well, I've never heard of a circuit level gateway firewall.
Well, it's because they usually call it a proxy.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a crazy name for it.
Right. You remember the circuit level proxy in the basically the full stack proxy, the different types of proxies? Layers, session layer, application presentation, session transport, network data link, physical.
Well, yeah, I would
layer 5.
It's got to be.
Yeah, layer 5.
So, which one are you saying it is? Are you agreeing with?
I think it's circuit level. But I'm, this was Ryan's answer. I should even shut up. I don't even know I'm talking.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens.
If you guys could reach through the thing and smack me, you could do that.
Oh boy.
Did we pass? Holy crap! We got 6 wrong. We're not good at this.
Wow.
Hey, wait. 76% would be passing. Mm-hmm. Think about that. Yeah. So you can tell we are not software developers or doing SDLC, huh?
Well, the strongest guy on this call was SDLC would be, I think, Ryan. You got some good background on that, but it's a lot of the stuff is the old, it's older verbiage.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, that was me. I think, yeah, that was originally question 3, but I think it's question 1 that's wrong.
Yeah, just the incorrects.
Yeah, I own that one.
Oh, it's that. It's the false versus the unfalse.
So
wordzing.
Yeah. So what's nice is this is why I liked it is it does give you pretty good information as to why, and then they do require you to actually, if you submit a question, put like where it's at. So it's a good study guide.
So in this one, it says the following statements related to BIBA security model are false. And the correct answer is programs serve as an intermediate layer between subject. I think if you would have read that slower, Brian, you would have got that. Because there's no intermediary in BIBA.
Right.
Oh, it was because of that perturbation. That was that word.
We
See,
we
that
did
threw us totally off.
we did say, didn't we say padded cells are perturbation? And we said we went with the fancy word.
Mm-hmm.
No.
What's the details on this? What's perturbation?
It does not say.
It doesn't really tell you.
No, it just tells you which one.
Oh, perturbation also addresses inference attacks, but involves making minor modifications to the results to a query. Oh,
Interesting. See?
Why do we do this to ourselves?
It's for everyone's
as an industry. It's like so the.
Oh, well,
okay.
Remote.
Oh.
So, all right, okay, yeah.
Yeah, but this is a bit of a trick question. Because of the way they phrase it, right?
We're making excuses. Hey, stop trying to trick us. What the hell?
Well, so here's what threw me and why right, this isn't the official question, but electronic vaulting doesn't require an alternate location. And the way that this question is worded, I think is a little bit misleading, right? Usually at a separate geographical location. Remote journaling is literally to an alternate site.
Yeah, that's a good point. I still sort of think remote journaling is the answer, but okay.
Yeah.
Well, the parallel processing piece, but remote journaling isn't parallel processing.
No, it's sending the journal across.
Right. I'm going to look that up while you keep going because
right.
I wonder if that's wrong.
All right. Well, consistency for ACID, we knew that. We had gotten that one wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And that
we talked ourselves out of that one.
Yeah, we talked ourselves out of that
kinds
one.
Of stuff.
Also, hey, listeners, by the way, try not to do that to yourself. Go with the gut. That's what I got taught with this one. Go with the gut. Better to be wrong because you were wrong than be right and make it wrong because you thought you were wrong.
I really think the argument for journaling was correct.
I agree.
Because it's not remote journaling is not parallel processing. But anyway, it's synchronized for sure, but it's periodic synchronization. It's not live like you'd get with parallel processing.
I think so. I think the reason, I think what we should have caught was the batch processing.
But that doesn't necessarily equal it being in parallel.
Well, and what does batch tell you? Batch tells you isn't batch periodic?
Well, that's what it's saying.
You're taking something that happened during that time frame, so it's periodic. It's batches that are being pushed.
Yeah, I think the trick here was batch and backup data. It threw us that it was saying to a server at an alternate location. Yeah,
but even remote journaling it's a backup strategy. So I'm still going with it, man. I'm gonna.
Okay, so Evan actually brings up a really valid point. In very rare instances, it can happen where the question is straight up wrong. Like somebody made a mistake or a typo. This can happen on the real exam, and they do have a process for dealing with it should you encounter it. So just know that that's a thing. So if you find what you really think is wrong.
Darn it. Well, we did have it narrowed down. This one narrowed down to ICMP and IGMP. TCP, UDP 17. So this is what we were talking about. Just memorize these things. There should be all highlighted in the slides. So any of those things that are highlighted, just you got to know. Circuit level, you were correct there, Evan. And that was it.
And another one that's really common on the protocol type in the IP header is 47. 47 is GRE. That's generic routing encapsulation. That one's really popular too. So if I were to memorize any of the IP protocol types, it would be ICMP, IGMP. So ICMP is 2. IGMP, I can't remember. TCP is 6. I think UDP is 17, and then GRE is 47. Those ones would be the ones that I would memorize. If you're going to memorize any of them in the IP header.
Yeah, those well-known ones. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got that one right. All right, should we do another one?
Heck yeah.
Let's see what
What
happens
else
here.
am I going to do on a Wednesday night? I'm a security guy. I got no life. But I do. I'm just kidding. I do have a life. I got friends. I promise I do. Like 3 of them.
All right.
And a motorcycle.
Should we do the study mode or where we can see the answer real time?
Sure.
Change that up a little bit.
I'm good either way.
You know what? Oh, 25 or 50. We do 50.
Oh, in. Let's go 250. Let's go till midnight.
Oh dear God. If we do 50, that'll pretty much take us through the end of the class.
If we do 50?
Yeah.
Let's do 25 and 25 again, maybe.
All right. Let's do it.
And then should we rotate? Like you do one.
Yeah.
Ryan does one, and then I'll do one or something.
Sure. Who wants to go first? Now that you've seen the question.
You go ahead, Brad. Evan gave the rotation.
Oh. Okay. All right. While we're referring to physical security, what does positive pressurization mean? Okay, so it causes the sprinkler system to go off. Well, there is pressurization in some of the sprinkler types, so we'll keep that in mind. A series of measures that increase pressure on employees in order to make them more productive. I'd call that positive pressure. I think I could eliminate that one. The air goes out of a room when the door is open, and outside air does not go into the room. I know that's positive pressure in like hospitals, or wait, is that negative pressure? Now I gotta think about that. It's been way too long. Pressure inside your sprinkler system is greater than 0. Well, I don't think it's the first two. Gosh, now I'm questioning positive and negative pressurization.
This is the way we'll do it too. We'll do it like we'll go on our rotation, and then if one of us wants a second opinion, we can ask for it. Yeah. That way you don't feel like you're all like.
I think it's negative. The air goes out of the room. That's negative pressure, right? Am I losing my mind? I mean, it's totally different subject, but.
Are you asking us?
Oh, I don't have to ask on the first question.
We're friends.
He's like, I ain't burning my phone, friend.
Positive physical. This is hell. That. I'm trying to think when that would be a case for physical security. That's more like healthcare.
Well, think of like a tire.
Yeah.
You have a positive pressure in the tire, right? Because when you put the thing on, it tells you how much positive pressure you have in pounds per square inch. That's positive, so it's pushing out, right? Same thing, same concept, I think, in a data center.
Yep. You're right. I talked myself out of that one. It is the air goes out of the room. And
that didn't count as your phone a friend. That was just a friend. I'm just a friend.
There you go. I guess technically I need to say that because I said that. I accidentally clicked it. That's it. All right.
What do the I love you and Melissa virus attacks have in common?
They're stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, real quick, while you're thinking about that, apparently someone online just mentioned that they passed their test. They just passed the test.
Hey, let's clap that out, man. You hear my clapping? Could you hear my clapping? Did you guys hear my clapping?
Yeah.
Too.
Oh.
Congratulations to whoever passed. Welcome to the family.
Good feeling.
They have nothing in common. They're both social engineering attacks. No, I don't think people were directly social engineered there. Masquerading attacks, denial of service attack. Hmm. I gotta think back. I love you.
I love you too.
Love you too. Oh, damn, you beat me to it.
But I do love you guys. I really do. Uh, well, they do have something in common. Both worms. No, 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 they weren't worms. What was the virus? Oh God, 2020. I'm gonna say that they don't have anything in common because it's not that. Then they're masquerading. They're both masquerading
Who
attacks.
chose that one? Did you choose before you answered?
He said they have. Didn't he say
No,
that?
no. In all fairness, I gave my answer, but then I waffled on it after
I,
I did. Which you can do on the test. You can change your answer.
Aren't they social engineering attacks? Oh,
yeah.
because I thought so. Because they have that social engineering component.
Because they God, we don't. Do we even use the masquerading term anymore?
I don't.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, and there's kind of a. I mean, if you want to split hairs, right? They're not viruses; they're worms.
Right.
But not classified as a worm.
I mean, and part
Worms
of
spread viruses in bed.
This is true.
and part of the out or the result of that is basically they did create denial of service situations.
Yeah.
They
So.
did. And to further pick it apart now that I have the Google machine open, the apparently it was not a worm because it was not a standalone program, and that was the defining line on that.
Oh, there you go. All right, Ryan, are you hoping for a tough one for Evan? He's gonna get like some.
I am. But
What's
he's
the security policy? Oh, come on.
I know, right? Spell.
Oh,
Oh,
see,
come on.
that's not fair.
Hey, come on.
This is what we've seen.
Come on, man. Okay, wait. Let me think it through. Which of the following is most affected by denial of service DOS attacks? Well, the last version of DOS I used was version 6. Oh, wait, different DOS. That's the disk operating system. All right, so denial of service. We've talked about CIA, right? That's one of those basics: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Accountability isn't one of the CIAs, so that's the word that doesn't fit here. So is this an attack on integrity? Does this take data and manipulate it so that it's inaccurate? No. Confidentiality, there's no exposure of data, no compromise that way. So yeah, it's availability.
Okay. Oh,
awesome.
Good Lord.
Good Lord.
How is this fair? All right. Well, I'm going to give people a chance here to read it. I'm going to Google. No, I'm going to make sure our pacing is better, giving people a chance to read through it. All right. Oh, God. Man. All right.
Good Lord isn't one of the answers.
All right. So Bella Padula is not integrity. Man, I cannot talk. It is. I'm ready for bed.
No.
Is not integrity. All right. That's Bella. Let's see. So no write down, no read down, no read or no read up, no read down, no write up. Well, so we want to maintain confidentiality, right? I'm really tired. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like,
but I think you're on the right path, man.
so
It would be.
yeah. So you got confidentiality, which means you don't want to.
You don't want to write down.
You wouldn't write down, and then if you're adding the star property, the strong, right? That would add the no read up.
Well, reading
Oh,
down and writing up, those are
wait,
integrity properties, right?
reading down, writing up, right? And you no
So you can eliminate those two.
no read down, no write up. So it's and then yeah, it's no read up. No, darn it. Ah!
But you're
I
going to find that on the exam all the time, right? You're going to find, well, you'll be able to eliminate two, and then you're going to
Yep.
have to choose between two, and sometimes you'll have to guess.
I'll be honest. I think uh, yeah, I'm definitely feeling tired. I overthought that one. I knew that too.
This is why it's so important to get a good night's sleep before doing this.
Yeah, you mean working like insane hours is not doing the test after 12 hours of work is not ideal. What?
Generally not.
I know you
Depends on
guys
how
are in the
many
same
energy
boat.
drinks you had.
Not enough.
Yeah, I I've actually stopped. I have not had a soda or energy drink or anything like that since we started the quarantine. So it's been
Good for
two,
you.
2.5 months. I am suffering.
Are you
You can
really?
tell. Well, I mean, I'm definitely feeling it towards the end of the day.
People are always
What?
surprised when I tell them how much caffeine I drink.
I've been drinking more tea though, so I've been switching, trying to get healthier.
That's good. That's a good idea, man.
So, all right,
Kudos to
Ryan.
you.
Which of the following specifically addresses cyber attacks against an organization's IT systems? Is it the incident response plan, continuity of support plan, continuity of operations plan, or business continuity plan? I'll give folks a minute to think about that. So if we think, what is business continuity? Well, that's keeping the business running in the event of all types of disasters. And this is about a very specific type, cyber attack. Let's see, continuity of operations. Well, that's keeping the specific operations of the business running at a more detailed level of a plan. Let's see, continuity of support. We're getting even more granular with our plans. Incident response. Well, all cyber attacks are incidences. Not all incidences are cyber attacks. So I'm going to go with the incident response plan.
When do I get an easy question?
I know, right?
That's a little bit more difficult.
Ooh,
That's a little more difficult.
right? There's no way I'm getting this one. I don't think. I don't know. Buffalo overflow and boundary condition errors are subsets of which of the following? Race conditions, input validation, exceptional condition handling errors, access validation errors. I don't know who covered this one, but race conditions are typically time of check, time of use. So those are TOC, TOU type attacks where the computer's checking for something, and in the time that it's taking to check for something, I'm inserting something else to try to get there first. So that's a race condition. It's not a buffer overflow. Uh, Input validation error. So a buffer overflow is smashing the stack so that when you give the application more data than it's built to handle, it'll spill over into another area of memory. So that is the actual answer. But exceptional condition handling errors, just other types of errors that the system might do, or and access validation errors are different. So it's input validation.
Good job. All right. Oh, seriously?
Come on.
All right. Well, I'm gonna give people a chance to read it here. I'm not gonna jump right into it. Let's see.
This was
So
not so hard. You got it.
I know I'll figure it out. I hope. Which of the following is a peer entity authentication method for PPP that uses a randomly generated challenge and requires a match and response that depends on a cryptographic hash as of the challenge and a secret key? All right. Challenge Handshake Authentication Protocol. CHAP. Okay. That sounds kind of like what they're talking about there, right? I'm going to send a challenge, and then Handshake is going back and forth. I could see that. Extensible Authentication Protocol, EAP. I know that's a thing, but I don't see a challenge there. Challenge response authentication mechanism. Not sure what exactly that is. Password authentication protocol. Well, I can eliminate that one for sure. I'm going to go with CHAP. I'm nervous to actually click it. Whew. There we go. All right. That one wasn't as bad as I thought. I just saw the initial piece and I was like, oh, come on, and then read the question. It wasn't too bad.
When you've been, just watching or listening, talking yourself out of a lot of answers too.
I
So I
know.
was wondering if you're going to talk yourself out of that one.
No, I knew that. I actually did know that. As soon as I read it, I was like, oh, okay. All right, Ryan.
Which of the following can be best defined as computing techniques for inseparably embedding unobtrusive marks or labels as bits in digital data and for detecting or extracting the marks later? I just love the big words. Is it digital watermarking, digital enveloping, digital signature, stenography? Well, I know stenography is hiding data in images. So that's not gonna be it. Because they say marks. So let's see. It says mark. I've only got one with mark. I'm gonna say digital watermarking based on process of elimination.
Nice.
Well done. Okay.
Man.
Which of the following is not a valid statement related to logon IDs, which are being used during identification process? I don't like the wording of this.
There's a button for that.
We're all getting a little punchy here.
Well, yeah, which are being used during identification process of an user. English. The format of a login ID is typically standardized, which is not a valid statement related. So this is a not. Each user gets unique ID that can be identified by the system. Both of those two are typically true, right? We typically have a naming convention for user IDs. User IDs and login IDs are synonymous. Each user gets a unique ID. That's going to have to be true because otherwise, how will you have the non-repudiation? How will you have accounting and accountability? So the first two seem to be legitimately correct, which is not what we're looking for. We're looking for the incorrect.
Although
the login ID, what's that?
I'm going to throw you off and say I've seen plenty of cases in the real world where number two is is not
Right? Yeah, but they're naughty. Yeah, we're not looking for the naughty answers.
Oh, okay. By the book, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, not by reality.
Yeah. The login ID should be job descriptive, like administrator, etc., which would help the okay. That's sure.
Uh-huh.
Let's
It'll
go.
help somebody.
But let's really read all the answers and give everybody a chance. Let's be inclusive. So login ID should be restricted to provide individual but not group identification. Well, the answer here is the middle, C, the long one.
Yeah.
Yep. You don't want your login IDs ever to, as much as you can, to ever identify the intent or the use of the account, because that makes it a target, right? An attacker, as part of their attack sequence, is going to go through an enumeration process where they're going to look for admin and administrator and stuff like that. So naughty.
Yeah. All right. My turn, right? Which of the following is a type of computer network used for data transmission among devices such as computers, telephones, and personal digital assistants? Personal digital assistants. That's interesting. And telephone. So
what were those PDAs of that one company that went out of business? Do you remember those? What was that name of those things?
Oh, Oh,
Palm Pilot.
yes.
Yes. Oh man, I gotta go get me one of those.
All right. So looking at this, LAN is a local area network. I could maybe see that with the computers and maybe the telephones, but PDAs, no. SAN is a storage area network, so that's not going to be it. A PAN personal area network, well, that's more Bluetooth and things like that. And a LAN is a wide area network, so between um, uh, like maybe campuses or something. I'm going to go with personal area network just by process of elimination there. There we go.
Landman, WAN, PAN, GAN. Who taught those this time? Was that you, Ryan?
That was me, so whew.
Okay.
All right, Ryan, what you got for us?
All right, I got which of the following protocol is used for electronic mail service? SSH, DNS, SMTP, or FTP? I'll let people noodle on that for a second. So let's see, SSH, well, DNS. So if we unpack the acronyms, which is why it's important to memorize the acronyms. FTP, that's file transfer. Mail's kind of like a file, but it's different. SSH, I think that has something to do with shells. DNS, domain name service, right? Or SMTP, well, what's that M for? It's mail. So SMTP is what I'm going to go with.
All right, nice. And Evan is here. I'll click so people can read it, but it's interesting. I was just like listening to Ryan talk through that, and I think it's a little bit more difficult to do it this way, where we're talking through our thought process, than to just go, oh yeah, that's SMTP, right? It just feels a little bit more difficult.
For sure. This is the first time I've taken this exam out loud with other people involved and a lot of cursing or
Right? Well, and a lot of times when you look at it, if you're doing it, you just know it and you just go, and then you start talking through it and you end up trying to explain it, and yeah. Anyway, all right, Evan, you're on mute.
Yeah, you're right. Huh.
okay, this question is clearly out of date.
This button is funky. Well, I don't even read on these ones. I never even read. You can if you like reading. You can read the whole paragraph if you want. But Brad's got a great tip. Just read the statement, that bold statement, what they're actually asking for, and then if you need more clarity on that, then go back up and read maybe some context. But here it's asking this method requires that the station possesses a digital series of bits, sometimes called a frame, uh, indicating that it has permission to talk on the network. So this is a layer 2 protocol. This is an access protocol for the physical media. So anyway, going through those 7 layers of the OSI model, this is a layer 2. This is that. So token passing, that seems pretty legit, because in a token passing network or a token ring network, you have to possess the token. That's your permission to speak on the network. So you grab the token off the network, you append your data to it, send it back out, and then so that seems like a legitimate answer, but we'll go through the others. Carrier sense multiple access collision detection, that's CSMACD. That's the same access method as Ethernet. It's the most popular one, but you don't need to possess anything in order to talk. The way that access method works is it listens for a period of time to see if there's any traffic on the network, and if it senses that the network is clear, it'll go ahead and communicate. But there's no token or series of bits that I have to possess in order to talk there. So that's not right. Carrier sense multiple access collision avoidance, that's really uncommon now. It happens on wireless networks. I guess that's where it's the most common. On a local area network, Apple Talk used to use this. It's slow, but it also works a lot like collision detection. It You don't have to possess any token, nothing like that. So, and there is no such thing as certificate possession to communicate with the network. So it just validates that the first answer is the right one.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Give people a second here to read this. All right. So, like an intranet, an extranet is a private network that uses which of the following? Internet protocols. Okay. It's a network, so you need to use internet protocols. Internet packets. Well, I think that's part of the protocols. Internet patents. No. Internet ports. Man, I think I'm going to go with the internet protocols. Unless somebody wants to stop me.
No, I think you did.
There we go. Oh.
Okay, let's see. Which of the following two terms are IPsec modes of operation? We've got authenticated and tunnel mode. We've got transport and tunnel mode, authentication header and encapsulation security payloads, security parameter and security associations. Well, let's see. Authentication header and encapsulating security payloads. I don't think it's that one. That seems like not it. Security parameter. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say. If I remember IPsec, I've got transport and I've got tunnel. I'm gonna go with transport and tunnel.
Nice. Well done. I thought you were going to do what I did and talk yourself out of it.
Well, I was in my head. I just said it out of my mouth. That's why you heard me do a lot of.
Yeah, you can tell when any of us are doing it as we start hemming and hawing a little bit there. All right, Evan.
All right. Am I on mute?
You're not on mute.
All right. So which of the following answers best describes the process of restricting how users are able to interface with both web and standard software applications? Whew. All right. Configuration baselines. Okay. We would set something up according to a configuration baseline, and one of those things in that baseline might include this, but I don't know if that's the best answer. Input validation. Input validation is usually an application thing where we restrict the ability to put certain data into an application. We would do that to prevent against buffer overflows that we talked about earlier, or SQL injection. It's another classic place where you want to put some restrictions on your inputs. API control measures, application programming interface control measures. Okay, and output validation. So output. So go back to the question again. Which of the following answers best describes the process of restricting how users are able to interface with both web and standard software applications? So how they get to interface. So configuration baselines, I would cross off the list. Output validation is what comes out of the application, has nothing to do really with the interface itself. So that one's off my list. Input validation, restricting how users are able to interface. So input validation does restrict how users are able to interface. And API control measures. I'm going to go with input validation. Seems like the best answer to me.
Nice. All right. Imagine you are looking at a packet capture of traffic from a client requesting access to the SSH daemon on a server. Find the initial SYN packets from the client, have seemingly random target ports, and finally TCP/22, at which point the client is granted access to the SSH daemon by the firewall. What are you seeing? All right, well, port knocking, that does make sense. You're hitting random ports and then finally it hits on SSH. Dynamic firewall rules, I'm going to say no, because it's coming in to a server. There's no mention of a firewall in anything there. Browser cookies, no, it's through your web browser. It's not what we would see there. SYN cookies, I have not heard of SYN cookies, so I'm gonna stay port knocking.
Well, this cookie stuff though, it's making me hungry.
I know. This the hardest part about these is like how late we eat.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like I'll have like a snack, but then because I'm not hungry at 4:30 or 5. But yeah, that doesn't help.
mm-mm.
All right, Brian.
One employee sends a threatening email to another, assuming that it can't be proved technically that he sent it. Shame on that guy.
Naughty.
Your network use PKI. This is not who wrote these questions. What happens after PKI will get him into trouble? Is it authentication, the digital signature of the receipt? Is it integrity or is it non-repudiation? Ooh, let's see. Well, using a public key sends it. Well, it's not. He's not authenticating anything other than who he is. Non-integrity, non-repudiation. I'm gonna say it's a toss up between digital signature and non-repudiation. I'm gonna go with digital signature. Oh,
Yeah, because
because the signature gives you the non-repudiation. That's waffling.
so real quick, I'm gonna go skip ahead so people can read. But going back to the port knocking, I saw online. I've been kind of trying to watch the chat as you guys are answering. Somebody said, "Wouldn't it be port scanning?" And no, because it's random, right? If it was port scanning, you would see it hitting on, across to see what's open, not just random ports. So that's the difference in knocking and scanning.
All right. Which of the following is the correct? Wait, am I on mute again? No. Okay.
No, but I was.
I know I have to keep looking down. I'm like, because I have this button on my headset, and these kids play outside my, my office is in my garage. And these kids play outside, and I love listening to playing, so I mute in the middle. Probably more than you wanted to know, but there you go. Which of the following is the correct term used for the protocol data unit, PDU, of the application layer of the Department of Defense TCP/IP model? All right, so if you remember the DoD model, that's 4 layers. The application layer is the top layer. Frame, segment, data, packet. Frames are lower level. That's layer 2 of the OSI model, so that's not the right answer. Segment is TCP, and UDP are called segments, and that's not quite to the application layer. That's the layer below, the network layer. Data is what gets put into a protocol data unit. So I don't think that's the answer either. I think the right answer is packet. Now it's going to be data then. Yeah.
Close.
All right.
Yeah, like I think what people are saying. We don't know all of it, right? Nobody's going to know everything in here. There's just too much data.
Well, and
Memorize.
the human factor of knowing it in the moment. We all know. I mean, the stuff's all in there, rattling around somewhere, right? But it's the ability to pull it up on demand.
Yeah.
Right in that moment, under pressure, right? And you won't think about a lot of this stuff, except maybe a few times throughout, your month or year even. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and who is it? Was it Ben Franklin? That's they asked him something, and he said he had to look it up, and they're like, "Well, why wouldn't you know that?" He's like, "Why would I waste memory on something that takes me 30 seconds to look up?" Right.
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 And that's definitely true in this industry.
Yeah.
You're gonna forget more than you know. It's just crazy how much you have to keep learning. So.
Truth.
All right. Who's turn? Is it my turn now? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Which method of remote access was largely retired by Microsoft because it relies on landman hashes, reuse of session keys, and the use of an unauthenticated control channel? Well, that sounds like just a bad, bad said thing. None of that looks good. All right. PPP, that's point to point protocol. LT2P, PTP, TP, or CHAP. I'm going to go with CHAP because the others, this is a Microsoft protocol. The others are not Microsoft protocols, right?
PPTP was.
Was it? Okay.
Point-to-point tunneling protocol.
LTU-TP.
And L2TP, I think, was a joint venture between Microsoft and Cisco originally. Can't remember, but
yeah. Because now, CHAP was replaced by.
Well, there was an MS version of CHAP. There was MS CHAP.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. You're right. And that does not say. Well.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna. By elimination, then it would be L2.
No, I think it's. Well, I don't know. I think it's PPTP.
Yeah. Okay.
Because that was the one that was built into NT. It was so long ago.
Man, NT. I haven't heard. What is it? That's a name I have not heard in a while, or whatever.
I know, and you won't run into that, right? That's one of those things where, on the exam, it's going to ask you something historical like that, which, I think it does make you a better security person because you stack things on top of things, so you understand the foundational stuff. But in terms of practicality, nobody cares. You know what I mean? It's one of those things, just like you guys were talking about, that you'll dump unless you can't get it out of your head. But
Yeah.
it's good for the test, but after the test, it's one of those things that you can probably just drop.
What principle focuses on the uniqueness of separate objects where a key or password is split into two or more pieces such that each piece is unusable by itself and it requires two or more pieces to be brought together to decrypt the data or access the system? So a couple key things I can tease out right away. It says two or more. So dual control, I'm going to rule that out. Separation of duties, something to do on the job. Split knowledge, need to know. Now, need to know is how you become aware the key exists in the first place. I'm going to say split knowledge.
Nice.
Well done. Which term is described as security metrics which are designed to serve as early indicators of rising or falling risk and the rising or falling probability of security incidents? Leading risk indicators, lagging risk indicators, key risk indicators, or key performance indicators. So key performance indicators are usually measurements of performance. So okay, hold on.
KPI.
That is not the right answer. Lagging risk indicators, well, just the word lagging itself should be an indicator that it's not an early indicator because it's lagging. Leading risk indicators, I'm not sure what that is, actually. Key risk indicators is the right one. KRIs.
All right. So, which answer is defined as a formal written definition of the objectives of a program? Man, we are all just tripping all over ourselves tonight. written definition of the objectives of a program, its timelines, sources of funding, name of its principal leaders, and managers who sponsor the program. Program scope, well, that's part of that. I could see that where you're saying, hey, here's what we're gonna do. Program charter, well, that makes sense. Your charter is really defining those things, who's doing what. Risk treatment, well, that's not it. And strategic alignment, no. It's program charter.
What?
All right. You can tell we're also getting tired. We're not giving as much detail and backstory here. Yeah, no, it's this one.
I'm opening up another energy drink. It's a kiwi strawberry.
It's 7:30.
300
bouncing down the street.
300 milligrams. No. This is not. No, I'll go to sleep anytime.
All right. Which?
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it, dude. I'm with Brad. I've tried to cut out the energy drinks. It's starting to get a belly. All right. Which device is used to examine and control data being sent to an application server, primarily to block unwanted or malicious content? All right, now to read it. Well, let's see. A switch. It's gonna pass it around, but it's not gonna block anything. The router is going to pass things around. It's not necessarily going to block anything unwanted. Application firewalls at the app layer. So all data being sent to the app server. Ooh, firewall. Well, I know firewall blocks things. Instead of talking application server, I'm going to say it's the application firewall.
Hey. All right. We're almost to the end of this one. Are we going to do another one after this?
Yeah.
We'll have time. We'll just have to go faster.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Which of the following recovery objectives is associated with the longest allowed period of service outage? RCAPO. Don't know what that is. Recovery time objective, recovery terminus objective. That one sounds cooler. Terminus. It sounds like Roman. I like it.
This is Data Rica Disaster Recovery.
Recovery terminus. What's your recovery terminus objective? And recovery point objective. Well, only two of those are actual things: recovery time objective and recovery point objective. So I think remembering what is what. Recovery time objective is the amount of time that can pass before things get really bad. The recovery point objective is data. So how much data can you go back and afford to sort of lose or recreate? So this one, being that we're talking about time period, it'd be recovery time objective, the RTO.
Nice. I think we should do this one as a group so I don't have to answer one more than you guys. No. Who is responsible for developing security policy for the security program management in a typical organization? All right. Remember, this is not the real world and how things are done. This is by the book. How should this be done? Middle management? No. Information steering committee? Probably not. Security board of directors or the CISO. Well, the board of directors would be responsible for empowering somebody to do it. Information steering committee, no. I'm gonna go with the CISO. There we go. And submit.
Ooh.
Oh boy, hold on. Let's see what our results were. Hey, 92. And I'm going to ignore if I forgot to move some of the ones we got wrong. I think we did great.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Yeah, we got that one. We talked that one through. And, incorrect. What was the other one we got? Oh, yeah, data target. Yeah, I know we got more than that long, but that's okay. All right, well, one more. We'll go a little bit quicker.
Let's Do it.
Study node. All right, Ryan, you get to go first this time.
All right. Which of the following is the least effective transaction redundancy implementation?
Here we go again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I know. I'm saying here we go again with the
options
here.
Difficulty.
Oh boy.
All right. Which of the following is the least effective transaction redundancy implementation? Electronic vaulting, on-site mirroring, remote journaling, or database shadowing. So least effective. Well, let's see. I want transactional redundancy. Ooh. I'm going to say least effective. Oh, I should know. Is this remote on-site? I'm going to say remote journaling. Oh,
because remember, remote journaling is going to be sending those transactions remotely, like kind of real time.
Well, that's why I was thinking effectiveness, though. Like least effective. I don't know. On-site.
It's on-site mirroring. Because
really,
right, your database shadowing would be kind of real time. Right, a shadow of your database. It's right a mirror, basically a mirror copy. Your electronic vaulting is sending everything off in batches. The on-site mirroring isn't part of the that cluster of things, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, I was just thinking because it's generally real time. So.
Right. And then I don't know if you're talking or if you're on mute.
Oh no, I disagree with everything everybody's saying.
Perfect. Well, that's great because now it's your turn to answer questions.
Oh. A persistent collection of interrelated data items can be defined as which of the following? Ooh, it's persistent. Reminds me of dating when I was younger. Persistent collection of interrelated data items can be defined as which of the following? Database management system, database shadowing, database security. So the bottom two are two, I think, narrowly focused. They're maybe functions of these things, but a database shadowing is, essentially it's a shadow of the database, right? And we do that for redundancy and those things. Database security is just a thing about that. Database management system. So it's going to be between the database management system and the database itself. The database management system would manage the persistent collection of interrelated data items, not be, in my opinion. So I'm going to say database.
All right, good. Nice. Hold on. All right. Which access control model enables the owner of the resource to specify what subjects can access specific? Man. Which access control model enables the owner of the resource to specify what subjects can access specific resources based on their identity? Oh, okay. Well, role-based, no, because we're saying the owner, not a role. Mandatory, we know that's not it. Discretionary, that sounds right. We've given the owner discretion. Sensitive access control, I'm gonna go discretionary.
Boom.
It's easier when I don't over talk it.
Right.
An application layer firewall is also called a session layer gateway, a transport layer gateway, a presentation layer gateway, or an application gateway. Good God, is my tongue getting fat? I'm going to go with application gateway so we can keep this moving for folks.
There you go.
Hey, woo!
So you talk a lot faster when you have energy drinks. You just keep talking really fast and you start explaining things so everybody understands it really well, and then you get all the answers right, and it's just great. Anyway, which backup method does not reset the archive bit, or is it archive bit on files that are backed up? So remember, the archive bit is mainly used for differentials and differential backups and it starts with an I. Is it here? Incremental. There you go. When I do a full backup, it resets the archive bit. When I do a differential, that's everything that's been backed up since the last full backup. So if that's true, then it would not be resetting that archive bit every time it runs, right? Because the full backup resets archive bits. Incrementals also reset archive bits because an incremental is everything that was backed up since the last full backup or the last incremental. It's because they both reset the archive bit. So I'm going to say the one that does not would be additive backup method. What the hell is that? All right, I'm going differential because that's what I think the answer is.
There you
What's
go.
an additive backup method? I don't even know what that is.
I don't know.
Whatever. There you go.
So real quick, while people read this, there was a question that just came through. Similar questions in the real exam or be tougher? I think it's hard to say. We don't know what the questions are, but I think that if nothing else, you get the theory of this. These are pretty realistic overall. They're not maybe as polished, but I think this is a representative of what your exam experience would be like. What do you guys think?
I had a lot more story questions in my exam.
Yeah.
When I took my exam in 2005, so I have no idea.
For
but
the extraneous information, if you will, right? I seemed to have a lot more questions. And my stuff was, my exam was heavily risk focused. This seems to be more heavily network focused. So I don't know if that's.
Well, and I was thinking, we haven't seen any of the like drag and drop or anything. Maybe we should go to a new quiz and.
Do we have time?
Yeah, we'll just kill this real quick.
Yeah. Okay. But to the person who answered the question or asked the question, you don't want to use practice exams necessarily to. I mean, the good thing about using these practice exams or any practice exam is mastery of the content in a question format. So if the questions are different, from what you'll see on the real exam, the format of the questions might be different, but the content will not.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So this is an example of the hotspot you would get. All right. So.
What is this crap? Who made this?
Yep.
So.
This looks familiar.
Yeah. So you need to read through the statement. Right. Okay. So first of all, hey, here we go. Looking at the diagram below, where would the certificate authority be located in this picture? Use your mouse to select the certificate authority on the diagram. Well, okay, I don't need to worry about the big paragraph. So it looks like we've got some sort of a signing thing going, or e-shopping here. So man, looking at this certificate authority, that looks like they're handing out some keys. Those look like certificates to me. I'm gonna go with this. What do you guys think?
Looks about right.
Yeah, I agree. Is that guy in the bottom? Is he holding a public and a private key?
He is holding a public and a private key.
Yeah, that's what I would interpret it as.
Yeah.
All right.
So I think you're right.
Yep, we got it. There you go. All right. That was the only hotspot question. So there you go. That's what a hotspot question is.
We kicked butt on that.
Woo!
All right. Let's do a couple more here of these other ones.
Do some of those drag and drops.
Yeah.
Those are good for people to see.
Wait, there's dragons on the test?
Yes.
You want the matching or the sequence?
Yes.
The matching. Matching's always fun.
All right. Yeah, there's not enough. All right. Oh, I like this one.
Oh, that's a good thing.
All right. So reading it, what in the list below, match the classifier listed with the description that matches the specific class. Well, so remember, the way I always remember it is A is ash. So you're looking at like woods and.
What'd you call me?
You heard me.
Damn it.
All right, let's see. Select the proper on the right. Move the. Oh, okay. So we just drag them around. So class, I know B is burn, right? Or boil. I'm sorry. So I'm going to move this one up here. Class C is uh, computer. Man, I am really struggling to remember this. And I know K is kitchen. And then the other one left over is flammable metals.
Booyah.
Boom. All right. Who wants to do this one?
It's a lot of words, man.
I know.
Stuff and things. Okay, wow. All right. Cloud computing is a model for enabling ubiquitous convenient on-demand, blah, 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 blah. Use your mouse, select proper value, list to the right side, move values around. Okay. I'm going to work through this, Brad, and I'll tell you what to match what to what. All right, measured service matches. Cloud systems automatically control and optimize resource use by leveraging metering capacity. Rapid elasticity, so lower left to second up from the bottom right.
Hey,
Right, who?
there you go, like that?
What is that?
No, that one goes at the
has
top.
the word measured in it. Metering. Cloud systems go up that up one more. Down.
No, wait. Oh, this one. Here, this. There you go, like that.
Okay, let's see. Second one up from the bottom on the right, drag it down one.
There we go.
Okay.
We're on this now.
Let's see, on demand stuff. Service, move the third one on the right to the top. And swap the second and third down from the top. Boom.
You know what though? I'm looking at this and they don't line up.
Reread.
Are they supposed to line up?
I don't know. Let's see. Nope. Okay, guess not. I didn't know. Good job, Brian. All right.
That's a lot of wordsing on that one.
Yeah. There's lots of wordsing. I had to read fast.
All right, so let's do the. What else we got here? We got a couple more minutes. We can do a sequence. We'll do a couple of those real quick. All right. Oh, this is gonna be fun. All right, Evan.
All right. Oh, more words. Common criteria are used to for the testing of security products. Below are the description. Below you have the descriptions that match the 7 evaluation assurance levels that exist within the common criteria. Use your mouse. Please put the level. Okay, so you just got to put these in order. Formally verified and designed. The formally verified, designed, and tested goes at the bottom. Is that what we do? Yeah.
Yeah, the lowest level at the bottom.
Semi-formal, verified, tested, designed, semi-formally designed and tested methodically. I think semi-formally designed and tested goes at the. No, I think it goes at the top or near the top. I'm trying to think. Functionally tested, structurally tested, semi-formally. Okay, oh wait, drop that down. That top one, drop it down to there. Methodically tested and checked, methodically tested and reviewed. Scientists. Yeah, I don't know. Go with that. I never had to do that before.
Yeah, this was one you hadn't had.
Mm-mm.
All right, let's go. Let's see. What was it? It was structurally.
Part of me just wanted to get through the pain.
Yeah, functionally tested, structurally tested, methodically tested, and checked, designed. Hey,
yeah. So I had the methodically and the semi-formally messed up.
Yeah, but you had the. Oh yeah, you're right.
That's right. I got
you
it
had
wrong.
that one right. That's all right.
Yeah, I just had the semi-formal and the methodically crisscrossed.
Oh, there you go.
This one's easy. Come on.
Hey, there you go. All right, Evan. I'll give you a do-over.
Oh, for me?
Yeah, you can do this one.
All right. Application, presentation, session, transport, data link.
Application, presentation, session,
network. Oh, transport. Yep, network.
Wait. Oh yeah. Right. Wait. There.
Yep. Nope, data link before physical.
Right. Well, yeah. I'm sorry.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
I was waiting. I was trying to keep up with what you said, in the
Well,
order
because
you said it. And I was like,
and some of us learned that old school. I didn't know that the acronym stuff that you guys use now, or
yeah.
yeah. Well, thanks for helping me save face on that.
There you go. That's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. Question. So let's do a scenario based here, a couple of those, and then we'll be able to wrap this up.
And then wish everybody well in their best. We're going to keep the study group open indefinitely.
Yep. And if you're on the study group and you pass, we'd love to hear about it. Right. I think.
Yeah, and we'll endorse.
Please.
Somebody said, "Is the drag and drop questions worth more than multiple choice?" I don't believe so. I think they're all.
I don't know if they weight things different.
They're just
I
testing
don't
in a
think
different
that
manner.
they're weighted based on the type of the question. I think content is weighted, but I don't think presentation is weighted.
Yeah, I'm not aware of that. All right, so these are those ones we were talking about where you got this huge long paragraph. Remember, it is a timed exam, so you want to be conscientious of where you're at. So after a catastrophic incident occurs, you must rely on backups to restore lost data. What access control category is this? Corrective? Well, I mean, technically you are correcting the catastrophic incidents response, but no, that's not correct. Backup controls, that's not one. Detective controls, well, no, because we already, no, it's recovery controls. Somebody asks how they can contact us. If you email CISSP mentor at FRSecure.com, we can respond. We'll respond. It goes to all three of us, and actually a whole group of us. Moderators, I think, get those as well.
Follow us on Twitter. We're a lot of fun.
Nah, I don't ever tweet. I'll be honest. That's not true. I do.
You tweeted this week. Some dude called us out, and so we've boom.
Right?
Be nice, play nice, be good.
I want mine to have real impact, so I save it. No?
For when it counts.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead, Ryan.
All right. So skipping all the blah blah blah. What is the term used to describe data about data that can reveal key business intelligence?
Percent.
Data about data. Well, megadata sounds like a transformer. Core data. No, I don't know what that is. What's data from the core? Data about the core?
Is it a bank? It's core processing?
Oh, could be. Yep, could be. Yep.
Maybe.
Absolute information. That only comes from my wife, so that can't be.
Hey. This is being recorded, man.
I know.
It's evidence.
And she would agree with me, I promise.
Okay.
All right.
Article of metadata.
There you go. So a couple more questions that I just saw come through. Partial points if you get most of a drag and drop correct. No, it's all or nothing as far as I know.
Yeah, as far as I know, that's true. You got to get it right.
And it's adaptive testing.
Yeah, it is adaptive. So if you show proficiency, I believe what I heard is it 90% chance of either pass or fail. That's when they kind of drop the.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. They're the cutoff now because they shortened the exam time from 6 hours to 3, and then made it adaptive. So basically, once you get within a passing range, 90% I think is what it was. It shuts you down, whether you're 90% towards win or 90% towards lose.
Yeah.
See, they should have kept it at 6 hours.
250.
Endurance is a good quality for security people.
I mean, well, they what's interesting is they said that the pass rate hasn't changed. So that's kind of interesting to see. The other one was, how often do we have to recertify after passing the first time? Hopefully never. oh dear God, if my CPEs ever lapse, I'm just not doing it. I'll go into retired. I'm done.
Yeah, seriously,
Uh,
right? Yeah, so no, you don't have to retake the exam, fingers crossed, but you do have to keep those CPEs up to date and make sure you pay your fees on time. The
yeah.
biggest gotcha is forgetting to submit CPEs, um,
They
or
they
or missing a payment.
But
they
they'll
are
email
pretty
the
good.
crap out of you.
Yeah.
They
Oh
will.
yeah. They are very good at communicating that.
Write a book. That'll take care of all your type A CPs for the rest of your life.
There you go. And then um, the study group is what is it, Evan? We'll make sure we include that in the follow up email tomorrow.
Yeah, the study group is the FRSecure 2020 CISSP Mentor Program Study Group, blah, blah, blah. The URL is, if you go to groups.io and just search,
Oh, there it is.
FRSecure, you'll find it. Yeah. And then at the bottom of this page is, request, you essentially sign up. Sometimes it'll take us 24 hours or so to see that you applied for membership, and but be patient. We do see those and get to them when we can.
All
The
right.
approvals.
Well, with that, I want to say thank you to everybody and congratulations on making it through the class. That by itself is one heck of an achievement. So
Yeah, and where I think the program goes from here, it was so cool. For me personally, being here from the beginning to work with you guys, to work with. I mean, take last on Monday, for instance, 10 minutes before the class starts, I realize, oh crap, I forgot my laptop at the office. I call, I call Ryan. He's like, yeah, man, no problem. Jumps in, kills it. Uh, this was by far the least stressful. A Harley just rode by. Two Harleys just rode by. The least stressful one for me personally, and it also, I think, is an indicator where this thing goes from here. I think we're going to start exploring the possibility of perpetual CISSP mentor programming. So, meaning we'll just roll into classes all throughout the year, because we did get a lot of people who didn't hear about this until 3, 4, 5, 6, even last week. We had people like, "Oh, I'm late." Um, that doesn't mean that it'll be us three that will be responsible for it the whole time. It doesn't mean it'll be this exact format either. It'll be something where it's as less disruptive as possible to the people who actually do the work. But I think this is becoming more of a movement. When you go from 6 registered attendees up to 1,400, and we had our typical um, attrition, throughout the classes. But a lot of people are accessing it on YouTube, so that's nice to see. And we have 695 members today in the study group. So it's good to see that people are doing something. I think this is so cool to see people doing something for themselves, doing something for their families, doing something to get into this industry. Because I said it in the first class, we need you. So there's a place for you here, and we want to welcome you into the community, into the family when the time is right. So yeah, it's
yeah,
been a lot of fun. It's so rewarding for us.
yeah, I'll second that. This is what the fourth year I've done it, and Ryan, thank you for jumping in. Just that one extra person in the rotation, it's a huge difference.
Oh, absolutely, guys, and thanks for including me in this. And I I just look at how this goes, and I look at how you guys have been running this for the last 11 years, and for part of that, Evan just kind of doing his deal here. So very impressed with what you guys are doing, and when I got asked to step up, it was my pleasure to do so, because what Evan says resonates very strongly with me. We need more people to do this. We need kids to know this is a career path option. And believe it or not, they don't know. Most people still don't know that this is a job. And they don't know that this is a career path that's an option for them or their kids. So I guess my ask to you guys is spread the word around. Let people know it exists. If you've got niece or nephew that just graduated, a son, a daughter, whatever it may be, heck, a neighbor, and they're struggling with what to decide to do with their life, point them over to security. Point them towards this industry. We need it.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's not what people think, on the outside of our industry who look in. You don't have to be super technical. We have policy writers, trainers, process program managers, all kinds of things where you don't need to have a ton of technical skill. And we also have, the hackers and the penetration testers and the incident responders, and there's room for every skill set. What we need is people that are good quality character. So be that and work with us, and we'll find a place somewhere, right?
Yep.
absolutely.
Yeah. And I think the only way we can properly sign off is with a dad joke. You guys ready?
Yeah, give it
Ooh,
to me.
here we go.
All right. What did one eye say to the other eye?
I don't know.
Between you and me, something smells.
All right. I got to go do a technical college talk now. So
All
I'll
right.
see you guys later. Take care.
Thank you,
Have a good one,
everyone.
everybody.